you there? The hero of Melsenshire? I did not expect to find you in this damned swamp. We couldn't have picked a worse time to travel in the drowned forest. It's all these damn Mergen. We've arrived just in time for their spawning season. They're filling the swamp and tearing my men to pieces. I don't know how many Banshin are out there, but I venture it's more than one. If you could lend us a hand and destroy any Banshin you find, I'd be forever grateful. I know it's disgusting to imagine, but Banshin are the mothers of those slimy creatures. Every year they return to this swamp and a new wave of Mergen spews forth. Thank you. They seem to be coming from several nests to the west. Find the Banshin and destroy them. Be wary, they're always guarded by more Mergen. The Banshin to the west need to be... They're spawning so many Mergen. The swamp's overrun. I joined the Alpha army right before we took back Melsenshire. A glorious battle. My captain fell during the siege, before Baelor fell. Afterwards, I was promoted and put in charge of securing the road through the drowned forest. There's something about the water in this swamp. Every year, Banshin and Mergen come swarming back, and every year, hordes of new Mergen pour out. Ooh, I shudder just thinking about it. The spawn of Banshin. You'll find them in damp, miserable places like this. Those tridents they carry pierce steel like it was paper. Disgusting creatures. I never dreamt I'd end up in one of their swamps. I had resigned myself to death before that final battle. When Baelor fell, it was like being granted a new life, a new fate. We've heard the voices, so we know it's there, and not far. Our orders were to survey, though. We're to avoid it if we can. Take heed out there.
The insects must smell blood. Being eaten alive. I was once a star pupil in the Scholia Arcana, bound for greatness. One indiscreet lapse in Rathir, and here I am, a field surgeon, happy to treat any wounds or diseases. It doesn't matter how many times I tell him, there is no shard of Prismir in his leg. It can foretell neither the weather nor his impending death. I know it sounds odd, but I'm almost glad to be out here in the swamp. There was something strange going on in that hospital. I came to this swamp expecting a host of diseases, but I wasn't prepared for this. The Mergen and Banshin are everywhere. I've never seen anything like it. The soldiers come back from the swamp riddled with holes from the Mergen's blasted tridents. I've never seen one, but all of the wounded who fought them come back with severe burns. Like they've been struck by lightning. For now.
The Mergen! They came out of nowhere.
You are Bizerain's cat's paw, then? I knew he had let a mortal into the house's ranks. But this is who he sends to do his dirty work. Fie on him! You may return me to the cycle, but if you ever see your master, tell him this. He will never get his hands on the Sorrows. All of us, will stop him.
You have finally returned. Much has happened since you were away. The house has been sundered. Not by Tuatha, but by ourselves. The house has rebelled. The other members of the house have marched against the Tuatha. I'm afraid they may have attacked Bizarane. I do not think he is dead, but we must see to him. Saturnin is watching us, I can sense it. If Bizarane is left undefended, it will be difficult for you to understand, but many did not consider Bizarane the true king of our house. While many wanted to war with the Tuatha, Bizarane stayed our hands. And while our house collapsed around us, Bizarane did nothing. I will not lie. Though I see the value of your presence, many felt that bringing a mortal into our ranks crossed the line. With you, Bizarane made his final error. Yes, unfortunately the doors to the house are barred from the inside. I am capable of shadow stepping through, but I'm afraid that you, as a mortal, must take a longer route. Go through the proving halls, but be warned, Bolgan roam those corridors now. Saturnin's already started moving to crush us. Farewell.
Mortal. At last. Rebellion, Saturnin, the Tuatha will not rest. just what he wanted. As he planned all along.
Bizarine is safe. By the Weeping King, we might be thankful for something today. The rebels were angry without doubt. They must have done this as a last act before heading south. I know little of the rest. You will have to ask Bizarine. Farewell.
Speak. You have arrived as Tybri said you would. It is good that you were able to get through the proving halls unscathed. But there are greater events at work here. The house may have breathed its last. The rebels have begun a march of folly to make war on the Tuatha. As they said, they are rallying at a fortress called the Fallen Hall. I sought to stay them. They ignored me. I sought to warn them. They paid no heed. For them, the war started when I became the King of Sorrows. And now, my reign ends. Saturnin wants this, mortal. Without leadership, the rebels will be easily picked off. And so it falls to you and Tybri to save them. Years ago, the House of Sorrows and the Tuatha made a pact of necessity. The House would remain free of the Tuatha, but could not interfere with their war. In addition, the Tuatha demanded we appoint a more amiable king, one who would uphold the pact. And so I was named. I became the face of our submission, and when Saturnin led the Tuatha to fight us, the House had no reason left to heed me. No, I will not have every last member of my house blundering to their death like a fool. Unlike Fae, mortals cannot be reborn. You will get your wish in part. Saturnin will have to reveal himself in some form to attack the rebels. Confronting him is your top, your only priority. I have instructed Tybri to assist you as best she can, but she is not as suited to this work as you, mortal. Look after her. They are in the Fallen Hall. Save who you can, but more importantly, we must learn what we can of Saturnin. He has wreaked havoc within the house, and loosed horrors that none of us dare witness a second time. He is our foe, and he must be stopped.
There is no time. We must go to the Fallen Hall, mortal. Our brothers and sisters are in danger. It lies south of here, in the peaks of the Keening. It is an old Arathi ruin, and is easily defensible. The rebels were wise to rally there. Farewell. It is a dark place we have come to. I can hear the sorrows of our brothers and sisters. They are crying out with each sword stroke. Saturnin has tainted this place. We must head deeper into the hall. Behind the great cavern there's a holdfast sealed with mighty doors. The rebels will be there, and likely Saturnin as well. Farewell.
They're going to destroy us!
The Tuatha are here!
It is a dark place we have... Saturnin has tainted this. Farewell. Look! That must be the leader, Saturnin. That was the leader. It must have been Saturnin. And if he's heading in there, that must be where the rest of the House of Sorrows are. We have to get past this door. We need to stop him before the rebels are all killed. The Fallen Hall is a fortress in the Phalanx. To get to its heart, we will need to open 3 great doors. There should be 2 other sigil stones that we can use in addition to the one before us. They will grant us passage. The Fallen Hall is well known in these lands for its strong defenses. There are 3 sigil stones that control the Holdfast's mighty doors. They are strewn throughout the hall. Activate all of them and the path to the Holdfast will be open. Farewell.
Oh, this is splendid. I was worried I would have nothing left to see to after I slaughtered these wretches. Saturnin, you use that name so freely, but your little guess is wrong. I am not Saturnin. I am but a blade that Saturnin has employed in his war. And now, that blade turns on you. Saturnin has a message for you to deliver to your master. This war is over. Soon the sorrows will belong to the Tuatha.
I can scarcely believe it. All this death, all this destruction, and we have nothing to show for it. The Weeping King, farewell. Yes?
Oh, this is splendid. I was worried I would have nothing left to see to after I slaughtered these wretches. I am... You are more amusing than I originally believed, but my master has given me instructions to spare you. Saturnin has a message for you to deliver to your master. This war is over. Soon the sorrows will belong to the Tuatha.
I can scarcely believe it. All this death, all this destruction, and we have nothing to show for it. No Saturnin, no safety. The Weeping King left the world with good cause, for all that is left of the House of Sorrows is ruin. We must return to Bizrain with this news. He will want to know what has happened here. Farewell. Yes? Yes?
Thank mercy it is finished.
Oh, thank mercy it is finished.
Do not be alarmed, young one. I am not your enemy. Not all of the Winter Fae have joined the ranks of the Tuatha. I did not join the Tuatha when they came, even as other that I cared for fell under their spell. The Great Cycle and the balance are what I follow. This war of theirs is lunacy. I do not understand them or their new god. My friends among them have become wild, not like themselves at all. They are cruel and distant now, fanatical in their beliefs. Even here, the Tuatha created death and destruction. When they summoned Balor, the region was consumed in flames. It will be a long time before anything grows in the charred path he left. Even here, the Tuatha... It will be a long time before anything grows in the charred path he left behind. I am awaiting the return of my beloved, Aleia. She fell under the spell of the Tuatha and marched north with their vile army. Among them she perished, one of the many to fall at Melsenshir. I wonder, could you help me with a small task? I need this ring placed inside of a hollow. I am forbidden from entering Ranil. When Aleia fell under the spell of the Tuatha, I tried to convince her that it was lunacy, but her belief was fanatical. She banished me from her presence and that of her hollow. Thank you, mortal. Aleia's hollow is called Ranil. It lies on the southern edge of the Keening. There is a small altar at its bottom. Place the ring there. I wish to show Aleia that my love has remained true, and that I wait for her still. Go to Ranil. It's a hollow on the southern edge of the Keening. Place the ring on the... By doing so, we shall demonstrate to Aleia that my love for her remains true. Ranil is a Fey hollow on the southern edge. It is where Aleia returns after each turn of the Great Cycle. My beloved, we have always been together through every turn of the Great Cycle. But with the coming of the Tuatha, she changed. She no longer cared for the balance, only for their new god. I tried to convince her to return to the cycle, but she wouldn't listen. She marched with the Tuatha army to Melsenshir and fell during the battle. But with the coming of the Tuatha, I tried to convince her to return to the... Farewell.
This latest wound he has dealt may be fatal. He need only for us to succumb, and then he can find these sorrows. So that is what we will deny him. Let our losses harden our resolve. Where once we sought victory, we shall now seek attrition. Fae are the embodiment of magic. When a Delver takes the burden of winter from a Fae, those burdens are in the form of magic. Over centuries, these magics have been collected, contained in a secret location. The sorrows that Saturnin seeks. It is a difficult magic for a mortal mind to grasp, but the accumulation of centuries of sorrows is a fearsome weapon indeed. The burden of a single lifetime of sorrows can be debilitating. Their impact can instill madness or drive a life to end itself. Saturnin would hold a millennium of sorrows. With them, he could obliterate an army's morale and send them from victory to bedlam. Their location is an ancient secret. Only two Fae, the eldest, know. They left the house centuries ago to reside in Amalur. The way to them is blocked by the Great Scale, a mighty spell which you must bypass. That alone will open your path to the eldest. You must kill beasts on the pans of the scale. Death is the only weight it will bear. They know where the sorrows, Saturnin's true target, reside. We must rouse them from their reverie and learn from them. To reach them, one must brave the road southward to Amalur and pass the Great Scale. The sorrows are an accumulation of the destructive magic that the house has siphoned from the Winter Fae over centuries of existence. The Delvers of the house did this to enable the Winter Fae to create the Court of Winter. But knowledge of the art and the sorrows' location are lost. Still, the sorrows represent a monstrous collection of magical energy. We must deny Saturnin access to it. I have told you of the burden that every Winter Fae carries from their birth. We are to embody death and decay in our very essence. For centuries, the Delvers of the House of Sorrows have been harvesting this essence from their winter brethren to relieve them of this burden. This amalgam of magic and emotion was collected and concentrated into a single powerful source, the Sorrows. And Saturnin wishes to turn that magic. I have told you of for centuries, the Delvers of the House. This amalgam of magic and emotion was collected and concentrated into a single powerful source, the Sorrows. And Saturnin wishes to turn that magic on the mortal armies. It is a manifestation of magic that prevents intruders from disturbing the perpetual reverie of the eldest. From what I understand, the sides of the room take the role of a scale, and whoever wishes passage must use death itself to manipulate the scale. The only weight the pans of the scale will acknowledge is death. When something dies on the scale, it will shift you one step closer to the eldest. Kael'rod and Alarain are two of the oldest Fae in the Winter Realm. So old that they predate the house itself. With the death of the house's original ruler, the Weeping King, they fled. Their devotion was to the sorrows, not to winter.
Yes? What is there that I can do? Farewell.
The High King Mathon ruled the bleak, silent fields of Wintertide. He kept the season as it should be. The blizzards howling, the skies filled with snow in the gloom of a long night. He purified the land under a white blanket and allowed death to end the slow decay of autumn. The woods paid homage in leaves. The waters paused at his arrival. The world revered him in a barren stillness.
Impressive, is it not? This is where the greater Niskaru, Baelor, was summoned. Thank you for placing the ring, mortal. Alea will know that I remain true to her, and that I wait for her still. Do you see the crater behind me? It was created when Baelor was summoned into this world. One of the greater Niskaru. He wielded power that no mortal should have been able to stand against. I do not understand how anyone's fate could have been to slay such a beast. Do you see the crater behind me? One of the greater... I do not understand. Goodbye, mortal.
Hell, I've got plenty of supplies if you've got... Back again.
I've got plenty of supplies if you've got plenty of coin. Back again.
Until one night, when nature changed its course, and Gadflow, like an errant thread frayed from the weave, took the crown from Mathon's head. "A joke," he said. "A joke." And the court swayed in laughter. For Gadflow's was often like the mockingbird, with many calls, but none of his own. He placed the crown upon his head, and smiling, took a crimson sword. He betrayed the Fae with a swing of his newfound freedom.
Have you perchance met an Almain around here named Eod Dungaris? The damned fool got himself dragged off by Murgan. I am on an important mission for Templar Julius Mavern. He has sent me to recover an artifact from Bunlock, this hulking castle here. Things haven't gone entirely to plan. I got stuck in Melsenshire for what seemed like an eternity, and now Morgan have run off with my porter. Would you help me out for a bit? I'll pay you for your time. I'm afraid I don't know the exact details. Only that it is small and easy to carry. It must have been built by fools, constructed right in the middle of a Mergen breeding ground. Didn't take long for the Mergen to move in and make a feast of the original owners. I'm afraid I don't know the exact, only that it is small and easy to I'm afraid only that it is small and easy to Great. First, please retrieve my pack from those Mergen. Daod was carrying it when he was captured, and it contains the key to the castle. I'll meet you at the entrance to Bunlock once you've retrieved it. Daod was carrying it when they dragged him off to the north. I'm a field researcher for the librarium in Edessa. I travel and acquire items for gnomes who know best what to do with them. I hired him as a porter from the Rthier docks. It wasn't easy finding someone to accompany me to this swamp. Of course, the instant we're in sight of the castle, Mergen ambushed us and made off with him. My employer is a collector of ancient artifacts. He's very secretive and keeps to himself, but I suspect he is seeking something specific. If the disease and wildlife don't kill you, the Mergen will. As you've realized, if you've come this far, it's a dangerous swamp. Nasty creatures. They exploded out of the water and snatched Daod before I could react. I hadn't expected to be delayed there for so long. It was just impossible to sneak through the opposing lines before the siege was broken. Nasty creatures. I hadn't expected it was just impossible to sneak through. No one has lived there for centuries. Not surprising since it was built in the middle of Mergen breeding grounds.
people stole the secrets of magic, and now they come to take our land. But all that they find here shall be death. You struggle against the force of a simple army. How will you fare, I wonder, against the power of a god? Only a fool denies the power they can feel. She's been speaking more and more, and she has such interesting things to say about you. Soon, Tiernach the Merciful will come to our world in person. Then we'll see whose life is a lie, and whose life is nothing but salt and cinders.
You found my pack, and the key to Bunlock. It's still here. Good. Now we just need to find that artifact. A shame about poor Deod. He was a steadfast worker, and I never heard a complaint out of him. Oh well, these things happen. I'll meet you inside, and we'll begin our search for the artifact. I'm heading to Bunlock. Meet me inside, and we'll search for the artifact together.
The Tuatha have brought war to the Winter Fae. They bring us all into this conflict and turn the Court of Winter into some engine of war. But the House of Sorrows would not join. They resisted. They were the sole embodiment of all winter, all that was great and unique about our people. It could not be so easily discarded.
The artifact will be in the library, near the back of the castle. You lead, I'll follow. We need to find the artifact. It should be in the library, at the rear of the castle. It? Not very impressive, is it? I wonder what's inside. Doesn't look like we'll be able to get it open, but my employer might. Here is your reward, as promised. If you'll excuse me, I don't want to linger here. Steer out here.
The Mergen numbers have already decreased. Thank you. Now we can press forward and drive the damned Tuatha back into their hole. Take this. It's not much, but I hope it helps somehow. Take heed out there.
Who dares to stand against Tirnoch? Strike her down and salt the earth of her grave. Nothing may live lest Tirnoch commands it. This is but a flickering candle before the whirlwind of Tirnoch. Try as you might, struggle as you will, you are deluded. There is no winning for you, only death. Yes, but death as you define it means little to us. the great cycle returns each Tuatha as Tuatha again. And every time they do, Tirnoch gets stronger. Soon, she will be born into this world. You will witness her power personally, and it will be the last thing your mortal flesh shall ever feel.